Here we are with Barbara Denny, who is running in the upcoming election for Coronado City Council. Barbara, tell us about yourself. What's your Coronado story?
Well, my Coronado story is that I fell in love with Coronado when I visited on a business conference many years ago. I got active in the leadership of the Young Lawyers Division of my state and came out for a conference at the Hotel del Coronado. I knew I had to move to Coronado, so I did, and I've been happy ever since. But my story doesn't end there. I didn't just fall in love with Coronado, I fell in love on Coronado. I met my husband at the Navy Flying Club on North Island when we were taking flying lessons. Our flight instructor introduced us, and we've been happily married now for quite some time. He retired after 22 years of active duty in the military service, and we're very happily married. I'm very proud to be in Coronado. I love being active in the community, and there's no other place on earth like Coronado.
Why is running for City Council important to you?
Coronado needs a voice on City Council that is clear and consistent and speaks up for the residents, taxpayers, and small business owners in Coronado. I'm not beholden to any special interests, and it's my pleasure to represent the good people of Coronado on City Council.
What qualifies you to be on City Council?
In my short term as a City Council member, since being sworn in June of last year, I have a demonstrated track record of success. With your strong bipartisan support, I've been able to stop the tunnel project and the colossal waste of taxpayers' dollars, stop the study of the voluntary removal of 6 Orange Avenue bus stops to replace them with parking spaces, removed 2 lobbying firms from our city payroll, added 8 homes to our historic preservation program, established our city ethics hotline, initiated more disaster preparedness classes for seniors, working adults, and children, and I hosted monthly Speak Out Coronado community meetings in our library. And I couldn't have done this without your strong bipartisan support. And I've been able to achieve it in 3 ways. Sometimes, outright, I have the unanimous agreement of my colleagues on City Council, so the votes are 5-0. Sometimes, I get a majority of the votes of my colleagues on City Councils, and all you need, as you know, is 3 votes to make something happen in Coronado. Sometimes, I was happy to facilitate the development of grassroots groups, bipartisan grassroots groups in our town that brought the issue up to City Council and got to change their opinion to get 5-0 votes for unanimous decision on City Council for things like stopping the tunnel or keeping the bus stops for our seniors and disabled people.
What are the 3 top issues that Coronado faces today, and how will you work at solving them?
The 3 top issues as I see them involve money, traffic, and code enforcement. First of all, there's a disturbing trend of an increasing operating deficit in our budget. Currently, we have an almost $600,000 operating deficit in our city budget. This is a 6 times increase over last year's operating deficit. In addition, our budget increased by approximately 3%. In this dreadful economy, this is exactly the wrong direction for us to go in. And what I would like to do is work hard to remove the operating deficit, because the people of Coronado don't want to hear the usual bureaucratic mumbo-jumbo that operating deficits don't matter. They do matter. And so I'd like to eliminate the operating deficit and have a budget that actually reflects our community values. One way to help do this is to designate our reserves. It's nice to have a giant pile of reserves sitting in our city budget, but at the same time, we need to designate those reserves for catastrophes, for scheduled building maintenance, and then we will have a clearer picture of our reserves and what we have for what some people call the rainy day fund. And finally, this is so important because pension reform is looming in the very near future, and we need to get our budget straightened out, and we need to pass a balanced budget that we all stick to so that we can tackle head-on the very serious issue of pension reform. Secondly, traffic is a big issue. In June, almost 70% of the voters decided to defeat the tunnel project. And now, this opens up the possibility for real traffic relief in Coronado. So what City Council must do is roll up our sleeves and get to work setting priorities so we can demonstrate success in traffic mitigation in the immediate, short-term, medium-term, and long-term to show our citizens that we are serious about traffic relief and that we can do it. We are Coronado after all. In addition to money and traffic, the third issue I see is code enforcement. Across the board, Coronado citizens need better code enforcement and stronger code enforcement, and they deserve that. Currently, our enforcement policy is what is called complaint-driven. I find this divisive and intimidating because in order for a code to be enforced, one neighbor must sign a written complaint against another neighbor. Instead, I would like to see a proactive code enforcement policy in effect in Coronado. Once again, this means we must roll up our sleeves on City Council and do the hard work of setting priorities for code enforcement and then backing up our code enforcement officers when they do enforce the code. This will increase our property values and our quality of life.
What do you want the voters to remember about you when they go to cast their vote?
I am one of you. I am a hardworking taxpayer. I want our money to be spent on the highest and best uses that reflect our community values. I'm not beholden to any special interests, and when you come to City Council, I will cast my vote after looking at all the relevant facts and balancing the competing needs and interests. I will give you a fair shake, and that is why I ask for your vote on November 2nd.
Well, thanks for taking the time to speak with eCoronado, and good luck in the upcoming election.
Thank you, Steve.